First, it was the IT capital of India, the city of Bengaluru, that literally drowned as heavy rainfall unleashed mayhem. And now, the story is being painfully repeated in Gurugram. As a yellow alert was sounded in the NCR region, key highways and roads saw severe flooding, leading to schools being shut down and government advising work from home for the private sector employees. Year after year, we narrate the story of cities sinking, each story worse than the last one. Our politicians indeed have failed to address this issue effectively. Rapid urbanization, complete absence of any planning to tackle climate change will make the situation much worse in the years to come. Experts say that. Who is responsible for this mayhem? How can we tackle this crisis? Our focus on Biggest Exclusive tonight. First up, our special report.
A fresh spell of rains, an old story. Bengaluru and Mumbai then, Millennium City Gurugram today. Traffic at a virtual standstill, schools and so-called dispensable services shut, advisories and warnings, the flimsy formula the Aam Aadmi has learned to accept with a shrug. So what if this NCR town houses country headquarters of multinational corporate giants? The administration asked corporate offices and private institutions in the district to guide their employees to work from home.
12 बजे के करीब बारिश हुई थी और उसके बाद देर रात तक बारिश रही है और यही वजह रही है कि गुरुग्राम के बहुत से इलाकों में काफी पानी जो है वो भरा हुआ है.
The culprit is continuous and heavy rains over the past 24 hours. The Gurugram Metropolitan Development Authority says it deployed teams on the ground through the night to remove water from critical areas. 3,000 cops, PCR vans and tow-away vehicles were stationed to ease difficult situations.
इनको को पहले से अपनी प्रिपरेशन करके रखनी चाहिए ना. जब इनको को पता है कि इस रोड पे पानी काफी ज्यादा भर जाता है, लोगों को दिक्कत परेशानी होती है आने जाने में.
पानी में कितना पानी भरा हुआ है, इतना गवर्नमेंट ने अच्छे रोड बना दिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट इतना अच्छा पूरा वीआईपी रोड है ये, फिर भी इतना पानी भरा हुआ है.
पंप से पानी कहाँ जाएगा? नीचे जाएगा. नीचे फिर भी भरा पड़ा है. आप नीचे अगर कोई बंदा जाता है, नीचे भी तो पानी भर रहा है. पंप से ये तो है नहीं है, पंप से यहाँ का पानी नीचे फेंक दोगे.
The Met Office forecasts more rains in the Delhi NCR region over the coming 2 days too, on account of a stated cyclonic circulation over northwestern MP and southwestern UP.
Now rain over NCR will be gradually reduced. There are chances like Delhi today, we have given moderate. Yesterday we have given heavy and it was realized. Today we are giving only moderate rain, but tomorrow there are chances that rain may increase actually. By 25th night, NCR will be clear from cloud.
Bear in mind that like a Bengaluru or Mumbai or Chennai, Gurugram and Delhi NCR are among the country's frontline metro municipalities, big industry and big tax collections. As infrastructure cracks attributed to nature's fury show up again and again, the refrain that arises is, doesn't the Aam Aadmi deserve better?
Well, here is a shout out to our viewers. You can call us live. You can tell us your story if you're living in one of the cities which is flooded, which is affected by this rain mayhem. Give us a call. Who's responsible for our sinking cities? Call us live. Share your views. We also have a full panel of guests joining us on the broadcast. But before that, let's also take you through the story of Gurugram, Mumbai, Bengaluru, the three key cities who are usually affected each monsoon, and as I said earlier, much worse than the last time. Gurugram, the present suffering about 1.755 mm rains on the 22nd of September. Yellow alert has been sounded. We saw those visuals. You had the big highways flooded, people stuck in traffic jams, cars floating. There's water that entered into residential society, especially the houses which are built on the ground floor. Now the waterlogged roads, clogged traffic, schools shut down, office asked to work from home. This is a story year after year. It doesn't change, unfortunately. Inadequate drainage infrastructure, natural rains disrupted. If you cut hills, if you cut Aravalis, if there is illegal mining which is happening in eco-sensitive areas, that's what will happen. Now, in Gurugram, exploding urbanization, change in the land use pattern is one of the key reasons. Expert reports point out that more than 100%, if you look at the rate of urbanization, the manner in which the residential societies have gone up. Encroachments, choked drains, you've not built ponds, you've created parking lots, but there is no place for the rainwater harvesting to really go. Let's talk about Bengaluru. We have spoken about the story earlier as well, and we saw there are vast areas that were submerged. The IT hub came to a near standstill. And this is one of the big cities, one of the prime cities of the country that we are talking about. Areas around Bengaluru Lake, they were worst affected. There are multiple stories that we narrated to you that how the ecologically sensitive areas have been a victim of illegal encroachment. And that is the reason you had losses of over 7,400 crore rupees that were suffered by the IT companies. And if you speak to any of these entrepreneurs living in the IT capital, they'll tell you, we don't want compensation, we want better cities to live in. Excessive construction, lake encroachment, the nexus of the builders and the netas that we've spoken about, that's what exactly is responsible, and that's why you have the lake interconnectivity which has been lost and eco-sensitive areas which are the victim of encroachment. In the city of Bengaluru, we saw this mess. Of course, there are natural canals and drains that are blocked. There was an argument that there is no long-term strategy in place. You saw the politicians indulging in blame game. The city of Mumbai, the financial capital of the country, is not very different, unfortunately. You had uncommon flooding in parts of South Mumbai, near Gurugram. You had Churchgate, the Hind Mata, that area, of course, infamously, each time there's a rain, it's flooded. Heavy flooding on city highways. The potholes are a key issue, and in Mumbai, one of the worst part is that despite being the financial capital, each year during the monsoon season, because of this urban mayhem, there are many people who lose their lives. But it's a story that continues to be repeated. However, there's been no solution. Low-lying areas go completely submerged, not to forget the fact that Mumbai has a special kind of a geography that makes it far more challenging. But these are realities of climate change, the realities of climate change that the big cities in the country will have to face. You also had the frantic pace of construction, green patches which are fading. Many political parties now are talking about it, that how development needs to be also environmentally very responsible. Multiple orders of the National Green Tribunal have been made, whether it's Mumbai, Bengaluru or Gurugram, to ensure that housing societies come up in a very responsible manner. That didn't happen. Construction debris, clogged drains, nalas, not silted in time. The basic work that the municipal authorities need to do, that is not done. You also had the Methi River, more like Seaver, overflowing every monsoon season, and that doesn't really paint a great picture of one of the most thriving cities of the country. There is a major deficiency in the drainage system. There is a CAG report of 2019, and we have seen that how despite these multiple expert reports that have existed, very little has happened on the ground. But let's focus what's happening in NCR right now. In Gurugram, it's a story of huge highways that have been made. But at the same time, you see water being, flooded. And my colleague Yash is there on the ground. Yash, I see you on the ground reporting. Behind you, it's dark, but I can make that, there's heavy rainfall, water clogged, cars moving at a very slow pace. Tell us the story. What's happening in Gurugram right now?
Well, Anushka, the story continues to be the same. Right now, if I can show you, this particular road of Sector 47 is completely inundated in water, and this has been the same story for quite a years now. What we can show you in these visuals, this entire stretch, this particular road of Sector 47 is approximately 2.5 kilometers long, and this entire stretch is inundated in water. Not only that, we also spoke to some of the locals over here. They say that this story continues to repeat, and they continues to bear the brunt of rains every year. What I can also tell you, one very worrying situation over here is that there is one hospital right over here, and you can see that, just imagine if any sort of untoward situation arises, if some sort of situation arises over here, what will happen? How the patient is supposed to reach to the destination, as these roads are completely submerged under the water. I can also tell you that we've been reporting from this particular area since the morning, and I've been here on the ground at this particular spot since 12 p.m. and I can tell you that this particular area has no water pump installed over here, and I have barely seen any officials either from the traffic police or from the Gurugram authorities to take cognizance or to resolve any situation which is arising over here. People are continuously suffering. Their vehicles are getting stalled over here.